It begins quietly. A message, a follow request, a single emoji. In Pakistan, nearly 6.7 million people use drugs, according to the UN Office on Drugs and Crime. Each year, tens of thousands are added to this number. But this is not a health crisis alone, it is a system. Because in a country where over 64% of the population is under 30 years of age, the largest youth bulb in the region has become the largest consumer base. And Karachi is where that system operates most efficiently. Reporting by Dawn reveals that around 500 drug peddlers continue to operate in Karachi despite sustained law enforcement action. Earlier estimates identified over 1,300 suspects. Hundreds were arrested. Yet, the network remains intact. This is because the system is not individual, it is structural. Pakistan has seen drug addiction rise dramatically, from roughly 50,000 users in 1980 to over 8 million in recent estimates. And according to the Senate briefing cited in Pakistani media, up to 53% of students in elite institutions have been exposed to drugs. The implication is clear. Demand is not shrinking, it is expanding. Research on Pakistani universities shows a consistent pattern. Most users are young, often between 16 and 29 years old, the peak age for experimentation and dependency. Drugs are not always introduced as addiction, they are introduced as escape. On the supply side, the system adapts. Cases like Anmol Pinky and Fawzia Baloch point to a shift in operations. Women are now playing central roles in distribution. As per the UNODC, women traffickers are often used because they attract less suspicion and face fewer searches, especially in conservative societies. They can move through spaces, homes, neighborhoods, checkpoints much more freely. This is not incidental, it is tactical evolution. Geography explains the rest. Pakistan borders Afghanistan, which produces around 75% of the world's heroin. Karachi serves as both transit corridor and domestic distribution center. Some narcotics pass through, but much of them stay. The city provides a major port with high volume of cargo, dense urban anonymity, and informal economic networks. Media reporting from The Dawn, The News, and The Friday Times has repeatedly identified areas like Liari, Korangi, Baldia, and other parts of the urban periphery as recurring hotspots. This is not a coincidence, it is infrastructure enabling flow. But demand alone does not sustain a system. Absence of response does. Pakistan has very limited government-run rehabilitation facilities, far below what is required for millions of users. Families too often respond with silence. Research indicates that many students hide addiction due to stigma. Some are abandoned because addiction is still seen as moral failure, not a public health issue. The result? A continuous supply of untreated users. Law enforcement actions are visible. Raids, arrests, public detentions. But critics, including commentators in Pakistani press, argue that many of these operations function as short-term visibility measures. Addicts are detained, displayed, and then released. Meanwhile, distribution networks remain largely unaffected because dismantling a system requires targeting supply chains, not just users. The most significant shift, however, is technological. Drug distribution is moving online. Dealers now use encrypted messaging platforms like Telegram, WhatsApp, and Snapchat, social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok, and closed digital communities, including gaming networks. Communication is coded, a pill emoji, a snowflake, a leaf. The meaning is implied. Targets are identified through mutual followers, location-based searches, and direct engagement on posts. Transactions are arranged privately. Delivery is discreet. The evidence disappears. This is no longer street-level dealing. It is digitally mediated distribution, scalable, efficient, and difficult to police. And then comes the question of enforcement. Public discourse in Pakistan has repeatedly pointed to unequal application of law, particularly in high-profile cases. This perception matters because when enforcement appears inconsistent, systems adjust, networks factor in risk, and where risk is manageable, operations expand. Karachi's drug economy is not hidden. It operates through geography, through society, and through technology. It is sustained by demands, enabled by gap, and reinforced by silence. The question is, how deeply has it become embedded?